Hi everyone, and welcome to this bonus episode of Control Shift Live, the series where we explore the future of control rooms. Today, we continue to explore one of the most talked about shifts in our industry, the rise of cognitive control rooms. And I'm thrilled to be joined by Joe Zielinski, the tech-driven founder and CEO of Zinc Systems, the enterprise-grade platform that helps organizations manage risk, protect people, and create resilient, intelligent spaces. Let's get started. Joe, welcome to Control Shift Live.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Really pleased to be here, and thank you for the invite. And looking forward to diving into today's theme.
Absolutely. So, for those who aren't familiar yet with Zinc, give us a brief overview of the platform.
Just a quick intro to myself. I'm Joe Zielinski, the CEO of UK-based Zinc Systems. My background, as you said already, Chris, is tech, huge passion in innovation, which I guess led to Zinc's formation around 20 years ago, originally rooted in secure digital transformation and data intelligence. And now Zinc is a leading technology and software as a service business, driving how organizations manage risk and incidents effectively. So I guess our own platform has been designed for the built environment, driving resilience, delivers actual intelligence, and also focuses on, as you said, protecting people.
Brilliant, thank you. So let's start by framing the challenge. Control rooms today are dealing with this flood of data, whether it's CCTV, alarms, logs.
Yeah.
When you're speaking to your customers, what is the real issue? Is it about volume? Is it about speed? Is it something that's a bit deeper to do with how teams actually use data?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, and it's all about, I guess, unifying people, processes, technology, and importantly, data together. And one of the biggest challenges we've come across in the control room is fatigue, mainly alert fatigue, and operators are constantly bombarded with incidents, alerts at all different levels, and it's managing all of that effectively.
Brilliant. So if that's the problem, then let's talk about what the solution might be. And Zinc, you've got a strong track record when it comes to helping organizations create this sort of cognitive control room capability. Walk us through how the platform does that.
Yeah, I mean, if I just start off with maybe expanding on the fatigue piece, and that's a big part of what our system kind of resolves. And there's a wall of noise that slows down instant response, impacts decision making. There's always fragmented systems that don't talk to each other. Most control rooms today are kind of a patchwork of systems, mainly inherited. So if you had a brand new building, it'd be completely different. And they've been mainly built up over the years. And I guess controllers are told this is just how it is. So you've got your CCTV, access control, fire safety, incident management, daily occurrence logs, mass notification, various registers that could be visitors and keys or whatever that might be. And then compound all of that, you've then got all the proactive activities like risk assessments, checks, patrols. So I guess it's data overload is, I guess, the first piece that these control rooms have evolved quite significantly now. And it's not just security, it's handling building management systems as well. So they're very much the epicenter and the resilience hub of that entire building. So where Zinc comes in is we can consolidate all of those systems together. You don't need to replace all of the systems. You can actually leave your access control whole system how it is. We're not an access control business. We unify all of that data into a single pane of glass. So if you want to manage all types of incidents, whether that's a health and safety incident, an M&E fault, through to a fire evacuation, that's exactly where our system does, and gives you the complete peace and control that every incident is then handled how you prescribe it to. So automated standard operating procedures, none of this buried in folders and Word documents. So you've got this absolute clarity, and that's how Zinc is been absolutely designed is to make sure your teams in control rooms are very effective, very efficient, and it don't have to hunt for the information and use multiple systems.
So I think this issue of siloed systems is one that's fairly common. but it's also really difficult for an operator to really have eyes on everything when buildings are getting smarter and we've got this sort of increase of data. What are you seeing? What are you developing in terms of technology, AI, automation that can support the operator to I guess not just to process the data, but to really understand it and do something useful with it?
And it's a great point. It's a big shift we're seeing actually, and it's moving from just collecting data to, I guess, understanding it. And for years, the focus has been on gathering as much data as possible, more logging. Crikey, we even see some control rooms have still got paper-based spreadsheets. Hopefully, not too many left. But yeah, more systems, more dashboards. And I guess it's then making sense of it all and making you highly efficient. And the real value isn't actually having more data. It's about making data, I guess, comprehensible, actionable, delivered in the right context, based on the right timing, the right role. So all of that is making actually more sense of the data in order for you to make better decisions. And that's where your tools like AI absolutely changing everything. And also, we're doing huge amounts of, which isn't AI, but it's all about hyper personalization, which is all about role-based views, stripping out all of the clutter that's actually not relevant to you, and making your world very succinct and focused on what your role is in the organization. So when then you latch into things like intelligent automation, that comes into play, and that helps teams focus on what matters, not just a mountain of lists of data, which you might see on one screen and another. It's actually focusing what they see on screen. And it could be as simple as automating things at the top of the list and color coding, but actually makes a massive difference based on what the operator is concentrating and seeing on their day to day, because these teams are living in these systems day in, day out. So if you get this overload of information and data fatigue, you're not going to be effective in your job. End of.
So let's take sort of some of those things that you mentioned and unpick. And in particular, I'm interested in AI, very broad subject, and the hyper personalization. So if we start with that one, how within a control room, large number of roles, and also a flexibility of role, right? So if I'm an operator, I might be doing several things. How are you working with customers to make sure that what you're developing in the dashboards and the particular profile views are relevant to an operator and flexible in the work that they do?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing fixed in our platform. So, you could drag widgets around, save profiles. If you want a pie chart over there or a count list over here or a map over there, then you can design that on the fly, and it takes seconds to do. I wouldn't give that to every role to do. You give that to your DSM or somebody who wants to try and describe that. But to flip roles quickly is very, very easy. And the key aspect of every system to make it a success is its usability and its overall experience. And I mentioned it earlier, these teams are using this platform day in, day out. If it's clunky, if you have to swap screens, if you're having to wait for things to load, all of it has a massive negative impact on the way in which you're going to operate. So making sure the intuitive nature is succinct with the technology. And when we talk about technology, it's all about, I guess, intelligent automation. It doesn't just collect data, we've talked about. It understands it and learns from it. It helps people make smarter, faster decisions, especially in control, which fundamentally is a quite high pressure environment, when most of the time small things happen, but when a big thing happens, they really need to make sure they've got everything, all their ducks in a row to make sure they're highly effective.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's interesting. We talk about cognitive control rooms, but you're touching on a subject we're going to get into in week 4 of this series, which is about human factors beyond the ergonomics, so beyond sort of table, chairs, etc., and that usability, user experience, designing systems to make it easier for humans to interact with the machine element is a big part of that.
Yeah, and it's the same for whether a human engaged with it or a pop-up appears, which is an AI prompt or an AI summary. It's all about how it's positioned in order for them to be able to carry on with their day to day and not actually impact. So you don't want all this technology to conflict with each other, and that's a key part. And when you're looking at turning information into insight, and that's really what we're going to talk about today, and making things more intelligent. You've got kind of, I guess, four key areas which we in particular Zinc focus on, and that's I guess clarity, actionability, trust, and then adaptability. And we talked about I guess the first one and the last one quite a bit already.
So perhaps tell us about the two in the middle.
Yeah. So actionability is just all about surfacing insights with purpose. So guiding users. So we, when an incident occurs, effectively automatically gives a severity and priority level through automation. Based on certain thresholds of data capture, will automatically notify people. It will automatically create tasks, that whether that's emergency operating procedures or standard operating procedures. Each task is then given deadlines, whether that's 10 seconds, 10 minutes, an hour, 2 months, whatever that might be. The system will absolutely map that through and then keep prompting the user to make sure that they're managing this incident effectively. And then when you've then got the insight piece, then that's where you really can plug into AI. And we've got generative AI summaries, which kind of give you a quick overview summary. It will then explain what's happening in an instant. It will provide you with audit trails of everything, and also provide ideas or actions that maybe haven't been considered based on the ever-changing environment that's happening. So I always think that analytics is a great piece to be able to make informed decisions, but not everybody wants to sit and look at dashboards and all day, because really, if you just looked at a dashboard full of pie charts, what's actually going to tell you is very, very little. Actually, with an AI summary to telling you what's on that screen and how to improve the data on that dashboard, that's absolutely what you want, and what you want AI to really deliver for you at this initial stage.
And what about the trust element? You mentioned that was sort of one of the four things.
Yeah, I mean, trust a big piece. Got to build confidence through the quality of the data you collect. If you collect rubbish, then you'll get rubbish out, and that don't expect it's going to be a miracle pill that's going to fix your world. Got to have human oversight. There's no way, in a control room environment, you're going to get AI to make serious decisions for you. But also it needs audit ready transparency. So it's making sure that every log, every entry, every action is all auditable, whether that's through automation or through AI summarization or through a human making an action. Actually, it's the same thing, whether it's a human doing it or a machine. Actually, everything just needs to be audited and clearly then prescribed out. So we actually don't differ between the two. We obviously log who's logged it, but that's how our system's been designed, is very much that future ready piece that's going to move into very much more intelligent automation and analytics.
You mentioned the threshold of decision making. I mean, when I talk to my sort of different customers, it does vary by industry. So if you talk to policing, the threshold for automated AI decision making is relatively low because there's because of the level of risk they're managing. I guess for others, maybe that edges up a little bit. Where are your customers at in terms of willingness for AI to make decisions?
Well, so we talk around their ability to what they prescribe as their key risks for their business. So they always start off that what are the key risks associated to that is going to impact their business operations, impact the resilience of the organization, links into business continuity and all of that. So a protest of 5 people is going to have a much lower impact than a protest with 200 people, as an example. So there's no reason why automation couldn't prescribe and predefine using smart workflows, whether that's automatically triggering the next steps based on the location, or based on the report, or based on answers to questions, and using like these question trees that all have these guided logics. So first and foremost is all about capturing the right information. That then moves you to the next step, and I've already talked about it around automation of standard emergency operating procedures. What do you do in this situation? A prompt that can say, here's the procedure, here are the options, here's who needs to know, here's who you need to communicate with. So that then allows the operator to then stay focused and, I guess, confident as well, that even in a high stress moment that they're dealing with this incident, how it's been described. Then we lead into kind of decision trees or decision support tools, and that's all about escalating rapidly, because the last thing you want is a stakeholder to be the last person to know. So that's where automation is absolutely brilliant. They don't want to know that Miss Miggins has lost a handbag. They want to know that there's been a water leak on the 4th floor, or there's a unauthorized access to a server, whatever that might be. So that's all around the data capture, and then using, I guess, all of those pre-described workflow paths to contact goal command, trigger a mass notification, to occupiers of the building, or to a location, and then all the logs and decision making is then built into it. So I guess that's the foundation of managing effectively. And then just going back to your original point was around how AI can then come in. That's, we've designed AI summarization in its first stage, where it will literally automatically condense detailed incident reports, notes, tasks, attachments, into, I guess, human readable summaries. Ideal for handovers, investigations, because most incidents open and closed. The big ones go through multiple forms of investigation, evidence gathering, board reporting, insurance reporting, all of those aspects, where actually, the cost of an incident can spiral if it's not handled correctly. So AI can come in and actually summarize that and make a very big incident, very clear and easy to understand, and clear what the actions are and where you are in the whole process. And then, importantly, it could suggest improvements, and that's going to save you unbelievable amounts of time, because if you're trawling through mountains of information, then every time you're going to have to review that information in order to make the best course of action. So that's really where AI, in its first instance of generative AI, is absolutely changing the game in regards to efficiency in particular.
And obviously, when we talk about AI, there is a broad spectrum of tools that fit within that. So you mentioned generative AI. Do you see a role for more conversational AI within the control room environment?
Yeah, absolutely. And there is a lot of hype around AI now, and not everything is AI. I keep talking to clients that we could do this, and I say, well, that's actually not. That's just natural language processing. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, if we say what AI can do, you've got obviously generative AI. You've got, as you mentioned, conversational AI, and then you've got agentic AI, which is kind of guess our three pillars of our strategy. Okay. We're at position 2, where we've just launched into beta our conversational AI, and that's where you can just ask questions. So that is, give me a shift handover, or tell me an emerging trend that's happening with my instance. So all of those questions, like you would just ask anyone a question, this is going to instantly provide you with that insight. And the great thing is then learns quite effectively off the back of it. So so that's, I guess, the first piece is around conversational AI, and how you can then use like a ChatGPT style portal to go and ask that. And then we're also seeing how that can then bridge the gap between people and data, because not every role is a data scientist, and not every role should be a data scientist. So actually you don't need to employ mountains of people to tell you what those insights are. That's what the AI is going to do for you. Moving into agentic AI, which is, I think, the most exciting part of the AI ecosphere, future, is kind of goes beyond automation, and this is where AI can then proactively take actions, it can trigger workflows, it can solve problems independently. It's like asking a question, or go schedule a patrol of over here for these roles, go and do it, instead of you going in and manually setting up the schedules and doing all this. You're just telling in a conversational way the agent to go and do it, and that's very much still needs human defined boundaries, but it's like giving your control room I guess a trusted teammate or team member. It's like somebody is not going to replace you, it's going to work alongside you, it's really exciting what that whole world is going to really lead to, because effectively it's just going to automate and make everything highly efficient. And we talk about systems, and you need to close off this alarm panel over here, you need to go and do this. Well, the agent will do that. You don't need to go on off and log into another system and do X, Y, and Z. The agent can go and do all that for you. So but that does kind of lead into where a lot of this technology is today, and whether they are open, whether they've got integration capabilities to enable that. And that's going to be the life or death of businesses moving forward, is if the faster they can securely open up their their software framework or their APIs, then that will enable them to grow exponentially as a consequence.
And I'm definitely seeing that in customers going out to procure systems, the requirement to be open and to be able to integrate really, in order to get away from that sort of historical silo structure.
But also, when you think bigger picture, you can then have more centralized SOCs and GSOCs management, and because language becomes irrelevant, because the AI will automatically translate things. So multilingual. The piece around what if scenarios, is another big piece that could really help, where effectively you could use it even as a training tool as well, because so the possibilities are absolutely endless, and then we haven't even talked around what AI is doing for the software business in regards to writing code for you. I read a paper the other day that one of the leading, everybody uses it, but use about 80% of their code is written by AI now, and they use human software engineers to validate that code before it gets published. It's going to be quite an interesting world. We're not there at the moment, but you've got to get your strategy in place pretty quickly in order for us to make sure your business is aligned with what's coming down it. And it's not going to replace every role. It's going to enhance every role, in my view.
So it does. I mean, whether it's in software development or any industry, but particularly in control rooms, it does beg the question: does the role of the operator change as these technologies come online, from being perhaps more the doer to more of the orchestrator of things? And is that a different type of person that we need? Is it, really interesting sort of?
It is. I guess the benefit the teams have got sitting there in these control rooms at the moment is they understand it absolutely through and through. So when they move up the ladder and actually they're, like you say, orchestrating it, then actually they can tell whether these decisions are the right decisions. It's just they're not having to manually write these decisions or manually do these things. It's just popping up and then confirming it and tweaking it, or improving the models by asking it questions and telling it, improve it this way and that way. So, I think it's going to be a really, really exciting space, especially in the security and tech world. You've got, CCTV and advanced analytics and facial recognition and all those other things that everyone's probably quite rightly concerned about. But I think if you manage it correctly and you phase it in when you need to, based on your unique risk profile of that business and that building, then I think you can really leverage the power of intelligence and make better decisions. And that's fundamentally what you want to do. I mean, budgets are being squeezed, as we know, and technology is there as an enhancer to that.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a cost to the business. It should, software never should be a cost to the business. It should be absolutely all about a payback in 3-6 months type approach.
Okay. So before we finish, if there's a control room leader watching this, I'm hoping there are many watching this, and they're starting to explore sort of cognitive control room type tools, what's the one piece of advice you'd give them to make a really strong start in that?
Start small. I'd say start off with, choose a very specific high impact area, digitalizing incidents, automating SOPs or triaging incidents, and prove that value unbelievably quickly. Because if you can do that, then the business case is there to do the next job. So yeah, absolutely don't ignore your data. Most challenges aren't tech problems. We come and see they're data problems. Clean, structured, connected data is a real foundation to anything that's, I guess, cognitive or intelligent. So you've got to move away from these disconnected systems that won't integrate or won't provide you with the data, because you're a non-starter really. So yeah, I think that's probably where I'd start it. Definitely build with trust in mind, keep humans in the loop, and ensure every decision is auditable and explainable, I guess, from that side.
Amazing. Joe, thank you so much. Lots of insight there. And so to everyone watching, if you want to learn more about Zinc Systems and how they're powering smarter control room operations, the website is on the screen now, or you can connect with Joe here on LinkedIn.
Great.
And don't forget, this bonus episode is part of our Control Shift series. You can catch the full week 1 webinar replay if you didn't have it, see it live yesterday. That's exploring cognitive control rooms with an expert panel. And be sure to join us next week, where we're going to be looking at integrated command center operations. You can subscribe to the Control Shift newsletter to get updates, exclusive content and bonus recordings just like this one. And if something has resonated with you today, share your thoughts in the comments just below to keep the conversation going. Until then, stay curious, stay focused, and thanks for being part of the shift.
Thanks, everybody.